Man, I appreciate y'all jumping on for real. Good one.
Nah, for sure. Yeah, the championship. What a time to be alive.
What is up, everybody? We are back on a wonderful Saturday at 1:22 p.m. It is a lovely day out where I'm at in Buffalo, New York. It is nice, sunny, cloudy weather. As you can see, I got 3 people on here today. I got my co-host Ray,
Let's get it.
former co-host Juice,
Yeah.
and then we got our special guest. Our guest on the show, can you introduce yourself to all the fans and viewers? Tell them who you are, and then
Yeah, absolutely. What's up, everybody? My name is Brandon, also known as B. Howard. Me and my brother Ramon were classmates back in school late in Buffalo, New York, and everything. So we had that relationship for over 40 years, it seems like. And yeah, man, he invited me to come on and everything, and I'm just glad to be here to talk sports, to talk the NBA Finals, and anything else on y'all mind. So
let's go.
thank you for the invite, and I'm ready to get it, man.
Yeah, give my man Brandon a hand. Yes, sir. Hey, let me say a quick story right quick. Listen, guys, I ain't gonna put our age out there, but I promise you, this is one of my first friends in the world. Like, I used to have a crush on his sister and everything, bro. Like, it was crazy.
Hey, that's how it normally goes.
That's how it does. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was like, yo, listen, you know what I'm saying? Hey, listen, Brandon, I don't know, which areas you might know. Brandon lived off of Delavan, near Delavan and Bailey. He lived over in that neighborhood.
Back in the area, yep. Mm-hmm. Right where the library is.
Yeah. Yes, sir. So. But anyway, yeah, man, listen, I'm glad you came on, B. That's good stuff. I told you we're going to have a good show tonight. But I told you I had some people for us today. I got to make sure everybody was in there today.
Yes, sir. We need them. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
All right.
We got Juice back too. Juice, you ain't been on here since.
That's what I mean, man. Just ain't been here in a minute.
I already had given my breakdown. My apologies on serving the country. Sometimes
country, man.
Yeah. Hey, listen, him and my daughter down there in Jacksonville, so they down there doing their thing.
Yeah, Jacksonville.
Yes, sir. That's crazy. Yes. We got Buffalo. We got Buffalo in the house. We got South Carolina and Jacksonville.
Yeah.
I love it.
So, yeah, that's what's up.
All right, man. All right, everyone. We're starting right now. So, anybody, come join in. We got lots to talk about. We got a topic, but before we get into the topic, we got a few things that we're gonna talk about first, and then we're gonna jump right into the topic, and we're gonna continue that way. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and turn this music off, and then get right into it. Okay. All right. Gentlemen, are we ready?
Yeah,
ready.
Who want to go first? Who want to spill any information they got before we get into the topic?
It really don't matter.
Anybody got nothing to say?
I mean, I got some stuff on top, but we can talk about the Knicks first. Let's talk about the Knicks first.
Yeah.
Are you want to get into the topic first?
Yeah, get into the topic.
All right. So let's talk about Game 4's performance. How do we feel about Game 4 performance? What are like the things that the Spurs messed up on, or what things that the Knicks did to seal the victory in Game 4 that led to them winning that game? Like what are some inputs on that?
Let me go first, because I will tell you what, a lot of that to me. So Game 4 and Game 2. To me, those are the 1 point. That was the 2 games they lost by 1 point, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, 1 basket or whatever the case may be. Yeah. So to me, the first time they lost totally on Wemby. Totally on Wemby. Like, this is the NBA. You come here. This is where superstars are made. And Wemby is on his way to be a superstar, but you still got to take care of business. And the thing about that is, you know what I mean, if you have the game-winning shot on the line, and we're not talking about a heave half-court shot. This was a mid-range.
Yeah.
And you're 7-4. Like, I mean, what are we talking about here? You make that shot, you're up 2-0. You miss that shot, you're not a superstar. Jordan. Okay, so if Jordan took that shot, did you think the odds of him making it?
I don't think the odds against him to miss it. Like, I don't even think it's
right. Because we're talking superstars now. Kobe, Jordan. You know, come on, bro. You make that shot. This is where stars are born, and the league is going to allow the game has to be. You know, you have to seize those moments. Let me just say that. So now, fast forward to the last game, and I didn't even see the last game. I was at work. I saw the highlights. But I paid, you know, I checked in the third quarter, we were up by 29 points, bro. 29. So now I have to go back and say, what are we doing here? Because first of all, you have to, in that game, I could blame on Wemby, because the one thing I could say that if I had to blame on him, would be blaming on the whole Spurs defense, because whenever you shoot the ball and you're playing and you're doing technical, we're talking about fundamentals, you box out the area.
Right.
So if everybody boxed out the area, Wemby's got a 10-foot wingspan. So Wemby stands in the center lane and puts his arms out. How does the guy come in for a tip?
Yeah.
Right.
So I could go back to Wemby and say, what are we doing again?
Nah,
you know, and you know what I mean? So, but before we even get to that part, which is the fundamental part of what and remember, this is the second youngest team in the NBA history to get here. So this is where you see where some of the inexperience comes in, and they always say, are you big enough to be in the moment? But big enough to be in the moment means you don't miss the fundamentals. You can't miss the fundamentals. So now let's back up one more before that. Where is the coach?
Yeah. Yeah.
How did you give up a 29-point lead?
Right.
I don't think the man called timeout until they shaved 20 of those points away.
Yep.
Hold up.
Lights get bright.
Yep.
Basketball is a game of
the same thing.
Yeah. Basketball is a game of momentum. So you have to slow that momentum down any way you can.
Right.
Let me give you another example. So I remember when Shaq used to play, and they couldn't get if a team was losing when Shaq played, they came up with the thing called Hack-a-Shack. Why? Yep. Because you trade baskets, because you say, hey, I'm going to take a chance if this dude can't make a basket for 2 points, slow the game down, and you get back control of it. No coaching at all in that run. And I have to blame that on the coach first.
Yeah. Yeah, Ray, and I agree with you in a lot of respects from that and everything. I think for me personally, when I watched Game 4, I looked at when the Spurs were up by 29, of course, and then when we got that flagrant foul, you know, I think that kind of much changed the momentum in a lot of respects, because after that flagrant that Wemby got, the Knicks went on a 13-0 run, right? And the Spurs did not look the same. They still kept with the same game plan, shooting threes. You know, in the first half, they were 14 for 26 from 3, right? In the second half, they were like, what, 2 for 12 or something like that? Or something really crazy and everything, right? You're up 29. You don't need to be shooting threes, you know?
You're talking about game 3, right?
Right.
Amen. Amen.
Right. Right. And so, I mean, give credit to the Knicks. You know, I want the Knicks to win and everything, you know. Give credit to the Knicks. They did their thing on defense and everything also and everything. I mean, the Spurs helped them out too and everything. But, you know, I also got to give credit as far as coaching is concerned. Ray, you mentioned it. Mitch Johnson did not coach that game in the second half. You know, he did not effectively coach that game. And that's just where I give, you know, credit to, you know, the Knicks and their coaching staff and everything, Mike Brown, because he made the right moves at the right time and everything. You know, you talked about the Shaq hack and everything. When the Spurs did the Shaq and Mitch and everything, when Mitch Robinson was in the game, you know, he took him out and put someone else back in and everything. So I mean, that was very smart of him to do that and everything. Just little things like that make you a championship coach or a championship team and everything. And yeah, so I definitely think that it will be a learning experience for the Spurs. Like you said, Ray, they are the second youngest team in NBA history to reach the finals and everything. And I think that they're gonna learn from this and everything. And are they gonna win it this year? I don't think so. But moving forward, I think that this is something that they can take, learn from, and grow from, and everything. But I got to give credit to the Knicks as well, especially that flagrant. We're going on that 13-0 run. That was crucial. And then OG. I mean, if the finals ended today, I think OG would be my MVP because he's been really consistent. The reason why I say that is because he's been consistent all throughout the series. At first, it was Cat. But then Cat struggled, in these last two games with foul trouble and, disappearing, offensively. Jalen been, struggling, most of the series and everything. But OG has really been consistent, the finals and everything. So if there was someone that, I would give the MVP to, finals MVP to, it would be OG Anunoby because he's been having a great, series.
Yeah. So I agree with you guys 100%, but to elaborate on how I feel about it, just like stars and young stars, coaches too, like the lights get bright. Like I said, sometimes you sit there and you watching the game instead of playing or coaching the game. And basically, the analogy I was thinking about before we got on this podcast is like, say the Knicks and the Spurs are two high-performance cars. Sometimes the only difference of the speed of the car is like tenths of a second, but that matters in a race. So if you don't seize the moment now, being young, I get it, he got time, but if you don't seize the moment now, win Biamba and do what you have to do, one move could be detrimental for the whole series as we seeing. You know what I'm saying? As we seeing, you don't insert your dominance until game 3, and then everybody like, wow, you can really do this. It might be a little bit too late because this is also a high performance car that you're going against. You know what I'm saying? This ain't no scrubs. You know what I'm saying? So I really feel like the Spurs kind of like, you have to give credit to the Knicks, but I feel like the Spurs kind of like lose it for themselves. Like in the first quarter, if I'm not mistaken, they was like 6 for 10 for 14 for the floor or something. They had like 30 points, 6 for 8 for the 3. So it's like you start off hot, but then you tail off in because everybody started looking at the lights. It get too bright.
And one thing to add to that too, remember the Spurs in the first half scored 76. In the second half, they only scored 30. So they can say a lot about fatigue and things of that nature there, and and like I said, you gotta give credit to New York too and everything. But I mean, it's kind of like I used to run track in high school, and I used to run the 400 on one of the races. I used to run the 400 mile and things of that nature there. If you start off too fast in the 400 or 440, guess what? You're gonna be tired within the last 100, meters.
Yes, you are.
You're gonna die, and I think that's what we're seeing here with San Antonio. Think about it. Every game in every game of this series, they were up double digits, first quarter, or first half, whatever the case is, and everything, and then they died down. They start off so fast, and then they cool off in the second half. So I mean, I think that's something that is a problem that they definitely need to resolve if they want to get back into the series.
No, for sure.
Yeah, I definitely think that just by judging by what you guys are talking about and what you guys said so far, I definitely agree with everything. And to give my opinion on how I felt about Game 4, I didn't watch the full thing. I watched until the halftime. And then I fell asleep. But I noticed the way how the Spurs felt so relaxed throughout the whole game. They felt so relaxed, and the way how Wemby scored the ball. I mean, Darren Fox did some work. Castle did some work, and Dylan Harper, who's a rookie on off the bench, he did some work, but. It's always gonna be that. It's always gonna be that small little weakness and that small little mistake that the Knicks are going to find,
Mm-hmm.
and they're going to execute that mistake. And that's what they did. Brunson, OJ Nobi, 33, 4-1, 1 steal, 1 block, 10 for 15, shooting 66.7 field goal percentage, 7 for 9 from the 3, shooting 77.8 from 3-point line. Brunson, 36, 5, 7, 3. Like, you can never let somebody get too hot on the other side of the team. If you're letting, not only letting Jalen Brunson get heated up, you're letting OG Anunoby to grab boards over you, over your biggest tall man, scoring on him continuously, and like, think about it, like they got OG Anunoby, Josh Hart, Towns, Bridges, and also you got Mitchell Robinson, who was on the bench. They got a lot of tall guys who have a good wingspan, who can match well against Wemby. And now that Wemby crushed them in the second half, but they dominated towards the end. Because, like I said, they got too comfortable, and they let their comfortableness get in their heads, and that's what disrupted them to lose that game by and that's why they lost by 1 point. Like I said, at the end of the game, that's what matters.
Right.
It does not matter at the end of the game. But as you know what? Let me correct myself. It does matter, but it also matters at the end of the game. It matters both ways, because if you can facilitate and be able to dominate in the beginning, and if you can also dominate at the end, we should be having this conversation about how they dominated, but then they gave it up at the end. Because you let the Knicks break you down, and they caught up 2 players with big numbers on their heads, and they beat you by 1 point. That is sad. I've never really seen that really happen, but you gotta give it to the Knicks for trying their hardest to get that far up. And now they're up a 3-1 lead. And right now this is the Spurs' only chance to get a dub. They need to find whatever thing that they need to find to win this game. They need to stay vigilant. They need to be locked in. And the head coach needs to make some great calls. And they have to stop going to foul calls every time. Stop with the turnovers. Stop with the letting the boards get grabbed from you. When you are 7'5", you need to grab that damn board and score. Stop chucking up threes. Okay, you are the resemblance of Yao Ming, or you better yam that thing. You better do whatever you can, because you are that star player. And like my co-host Ray said, when it was just me and him the other day, he said that I forgot what you said in the last podcast that we discussed. You were talking about Wemby, how he needs to stop chucking up threes. He needs to start really,
So wait a minute. So let me just say this. Let me say this, because you have to understand, a lot of this failure where they had the Spurs collapse. I call it the Great Collapse. And when they collapse, because first of all, basketball is a game of runs. If the Knicks are down by 29 points, they're going to make a run. Like, this is the championship. Like you said, these are top 2 teams that finish at the finish line. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So as a coach, you have to know that no lead is safe. And ain't nobody going to lay down, because this is the last series, period. So with that being said, this is why, and I'm not going to say, this is just my opinion, because I'm not the commissioner. But at the end of the day, the league has went to a different style of basketball. The league, to me now, is a European style of play. You understand what I'm saying? So back in the day when Jordan, Magic, we can go all the way back to Bill Russell days. When the NBA was a more physical game, so what happened was the game was more physical. You understand what I'm saying? And Brandon, you can attest to this because we from the old guard.
Yep.
An average game would be 100 points,
Yep.
105,
Mm-hmm.
89. That was where the 20. That was what was the averages was. And then and I hate you have to put the history with the game to understand why I'm making the comment. So now, with that being said, if you scored 105 points, that was a big game offensively because the game was more physical. And then what happened was the only team back in the day that would score big numbers over 100 was the Lakers.
Yep.
They called it Showtime because they played a style of basketball where you got up and down the court, and that style of basketball favored the European style of play because it stops the physicality. You run up and down, and now that's how the 3-point thing got in, where everybody wants to shoot, and it took away from the art of the post game.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's no post game in majority of the modern day era, which is sad because if they would have had a post game, like we're talking about, Wemby, get your big ass down in the paint.
Thank you.
Right.
What are we talking about here? Because just think about it. If you're up 29 points, who is your enemy?
Yourself.
The clock. The clock needs to run out. Take that. It's got to run out. And so what you have to do is, like for me, if I was coaching that game, I would love to coach the game, trust me, but my style of thought would have been, okay, we're up 29. It's about possessions. So as long as I can have the ball, run my full 24, run a half court set, put Wemby big ass on the block, spread the court out, nobody moves, you get spread it all the way out, and we run a set. Or I run ISO. I run ISO with Wemby got the block 10 feet from the basket and say, have at it and take your time. Yeah. Because that's what didn't happen. They allowed them to get up and up the court, transition, shoot threes. You're bullshitting around, and now you get to the end of the game with 9 seconds left or 4 seconds left, and they still have opportunity, which because sometimes the basketball guys just need luck. You know what I mean? The only other person I've seen to do a move where he ran through the lane and caught a shot like that was Jordan.
Yep.
From past the top of the key? Come on. I mean, he was past the 3-point line when he ran down the middle of the court and got a tip in. And so that can happen, but and that was just a great, the ball just fell the wrong way, but it should have never came to that if you stop playing European ball and run a half court set.
Let me add something to that. So now, like I said, I did my due diligence on back, in the 80s and, the 70s basketball. I wasn't current to see it, but I did my due diligence. I see how the style game, I agree 100% that it's trending to a European, right? And by no means, like I love sports, by no means am I diminishing the NBA or anything. But what I can say is, for example, if you go back to the Spurs in the OKC series, I feel like it's not saying that it's scripted, but the referees are swayed by the narrative. You know what I'm saying? Like if this game was everybody, come on, you hold the whistle. Now guess what you should suspect the next game instead of just playing basketball, instead of just playing like, I don't know if I'm going to get a foul or not. Hopefully they can make the wrong call, but we're writing up a play to score, not to get in the best position to foul or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it gets to a point where it's like, that's not even an excuse though, because now he's like, okay, we're in the championship, we're in the last minute. You gotta understand, coach, they might hold that whistle. So now we have to be worried about people crashing the boards. We have to be worried, like we have to give all our information, energy. And it goes back to what you guys were saying. Kudos to y'all saying y'all burnt yourself out in the minutes where we supposed to play real man ball. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all done win so hard, and now it's like, okay, everything is on the table, all free fall, and we tired.
Right. Yeah. Hey, Airman, let me ask you a favor real quick. Aaron's, and then keep talking. I'm not saying that, but what I want to do is, can you fact check real quick? How many points did Wemby have in the post?
That's a great question.
Probably
That's a great question. Yeah.
Because
like
yes,
4.
you can shoot a 3. Yes, you can shoot all this, and you're a big dude. But where is? Because this is where I tell people the game of basketball has lost the art of the big
Yes.
man position. The big man
Yes.
position is non-existent right now, and you stop a team from making a 30-0 run or 30-point run on you because you slow the game down and put the game through the post. So that's my question while we're talking. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No.
Just,
That's a great point, Ray. 'Cause let me say this. Now, nobody's inside these organizations, and like you say, we don't want to diminish the NBA. But how much is that? It is on Wemby, but how much is it also maybe the brand of Wemby? You know what I'm saying? You don't want your fucking Porsche in a demolitionary, race. You know what I'm saying? So they want the points, they want the flashiness, and if you in that block, you're going to get beat up. And your career might not be as long.
Yeah.
It's not pretty down here. So I'm not trying to put it on the coaching or the organization, but how much of that played in the narrative of these young men's mind too that you have to be
I go on the record and say, screw that. I'll put it on the goddamn coach.
But you from the old guard, like you said.
Yeah.
I'll put it on the coach because Wemby is a Wemby. Wemby is a superstar. Future. No, let me write. He's a future superstar. He ain't got no token yet. I don't care if you listen. We had Yao Ming.
I'll pose a question real quick. I pose a question to y'all real quick. What is the normal amount of points you're supposed to shoot in the paint if you're posting up and you're a big man? Like
Brandon, you answer that question because I don't want to. You answer and I'll piggyback, but you answer that one. What you just said is going to make us be on this podcast 10 more minutes longer. Because, dead ass. Because you just posed a question. See, Brandon, this the old guard bullshit. That's that bullshit right here. You just asked how many plays supposed to go through the big man. And then I'm going to just say that, give it to you, Brandon. Big man is supposed to be the most dominant player, and he has a position that's the closest to the basket, which means I should have the most highest percentage of making a shot the closer I am to the basket. Go ahead, Brandon. Go ahead.
So I'm answering it this way. Every team in the NBA, championship team in the NBA, should have a dominant big man. Yeah. If you have a dominant big man, then at the very least 90% of the time, that ball should be in the post. If you have a Shaquille O'Neal, it should be almost 99% of the time, right? If you have
that again, Brandon, repeat that number again. One more time for Airmen.
If you have a Shaquille O'Neal, 99% of the time, that ball should be in the post. Why? Because no one can stop Shaq. The only time you can stop Shaq is when you foul him and force him to go to the line where he is like a terrible foul shooter. Right now, if you have someone like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, 99% of the time, that's really going down to the post and everything. I take that back, 95 because they had Magic too. They ran the Showtime and everything. But my whole point in saying that is that, for the majority of the time, that ball should be in the post. That ball should be in the post. Why? Because if you have a big man a dominant big man like Wemby, I'll say he's not dominant yet, but if you have someone like Wemby, what's going to happen is he's going to draw double teams, right? What's going to happen is
you're going to draw what?
Keep going.
You're going to draw double teams, right? And what's that going to do? Someone's going to be open, right? So he can kick it back out to someone, mid-range shot, good, three-pointer, good. The whole point of that is that big man, everything runs to the post because it opens up a lot for everybody. Even if it's a one-on-one situation or a double team or triple team, it opens up the game so fast for everyone else on the court and everything. Just look at history, right? Going back to the 60s, Bill Russell. Dominant big man, right?
Yeah.
And then you go back, going to the 70s and everything, when Kareem started and everything, and then we had,
Elijah Wan,
Patrick Ewing,
You
know,
win. Come on.
yeah, Yao Ming when he came up and everything.
Yes.
So that the whole game, and
But
I agree with Ray. You know
but
that.
let me say this with you, Brandon. Listen to this. This is why it's so important for the young guard and Juice. I call Juice. He the midway. He the mid guy. He kind of knows a little bit old school. And but Aramis is straight LeBron new guy. And but what happens is that's how you have to understand the game of basketball, truth and knowledge, which is true to our platform. Because we had a young man on our show just say, "Why do you even go down there?
Yeah.
Why?"
But let me
How
say
much
this.
do and then not only why he asked how often, and then we had an old school guy come on, Brandon, and say, "Are you kidding me? If we could go 100% of the game through the post, look at your chances of winning." Because at the end of the day, he picked the most dominant, one of my opinion, the most dominant centers ever, which is Shaq.
Let me say this.
If you put Shaq 3 feet from the basket, and this dude is 265, whatever he is, a beast, either he gonna get fouled, or he gonna make a basket, or you're gonna have to double him because he's so dominant. So if you take Wemby can dunk the ball without even jumping.
Yeah.
So if you put him in the post, and like you said, you put him on the left hash or the right hash of the post, and you spread the floor out, dare them to double. And you say, Wemby, do what you do. The whole game. So if you go back with that, now I'm gonna strip back to you, Aramis. So if you was the coach, knowing what we just said, how do you defend? How do you defend a 29-point lead?
Right.
Let me say one thing before we move on. Sorry, because as a mid guard guy, I agree though. I agree with y'all 100%. He should be in that post 90% of the time, right? But like I said, it's like not just him, the coach. They get caught up in the lights. They forget sometimes. Basketball used to be on, especially the old guard. It used to be like, yes, we know we have Magic Johnson. Yes, we know how Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Stop it. Sometimes you know it. Sometimes it's not. We make it too complicated for ourselves. You know what I'm saying? So it's like they forget the game plan. Yes, Wemby could shoot threes. That's a part of his game that makes him so deadly. But because if he making it or not, it's like he's just staying on that perimeter. Once you start hitting threes, they have to respect you. Then you blow past them. You go down in that hole. You go in the block. But it's like making it or not, he don't. Is nobody is scared of Wemby being down here because he don't want to go down there.
I mean, but that's a problem because
That's
now
the
this
problem.
goes
That's
back
the
to the
problem.
coaching.
Yep.
The coaching, and you know what? And it goes back to when we first started today's episode, when we said that the NBA is catering to the European style of play, and Wemby came from the European League. He played over in France.
You're a French player.
Yep.
The French player. So my thing was, now the Spurs are the greatest organization in the NBA in recruiting overseas players. That go way back to Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, Tony Parker.
Yep.
I mean, come on, bro. Am I wrong? That's what they do.
You was not wrong at all. Not once.
But now, within that being said, when they had one of the greatest coaches who coached the game of basketball, and Brandon talked to me, is Popovich.
Yes, absolutely. Yep, Pop. Oh yeah.
And tell them who Pop was. Maybe they don't understand what I'm trying to say here.
Nah, he was a very systematic dude. His everything was like a well-oiled machine. Especially watching them 03, 04 Spurs when I was a young man. You could just see like unselfish basketball. Like it was like a grand design on the floor in front of your eyes.
Oh yeah. And not just only was he a great coach, great teacher, great motivator, great man overall and everything, you know. And like you said, those Spurs teams were a well-oiled machine. Why? Popovich, Pop, he used to. Yes, they had Tim Duncan. Yes, they had David Robinson. Yes, they had Manu. They had Sean Elliott. They had Avery Johnson. All these guys right during their 5-year championship run and things of that nature there and everything. But the main consistent thing was Pop. You know, and
Which
he
goes
was
back to coaching. That's coaching.
there you go.
That's coaching.
Exactly.
Because he actually coached the team instead of what's going on right now.
Man, I was surprised Pop didn't come out the goddamn gym box to go down there.
He should have came on the locker room game in halftime.
Right.
Literally, I feel like he should come back to his coaching.
He's been on it for a long time, bro. You know, coaching. Listen, I coached for years. Brandon, have you ever been a coach? You coach youth football or anything? Basketball?
I coach youth football. Yeah. Yep.
What's your opinion on coaching? Like, I mean, it when I say that, the overall thing is you give back to the community. So I understand that. Bro, tell them how much of a toll that puts on you.
Oh, yeah.
And he like 80, 90.
Oh, yeah. It definitely takes a toll. I did it for 1 year, right? When I was living in Charlotte. And it was fun. You know, I was coaching, Pop Warner 8-year-olds and everything. And it was fun. But you have that. Whenever you're coaching, whenever you're participating in sports and everything, your main objective is to win, right? And of course, you want to give back, of course, and everything. But as being a competitor, you want to win and everything, and you do everything that you can to game plan and scheme and all this stuff, and then get your players ready. It takes a lot, It takes a lot of energy, time, everything. It takes a lot of yourself, and so even though it was fun. At the same time, it took a lot out of you. Why? Because you were always working to give your team, your players, the best position so they can go out and be successful and everything. It takes a lot. It takes a whole lot.
Yeah, it's a lot, bro. It's a lot. So, but Aaron, hopefully that answers your question. And to our viewers, hopefully some viewers on the day, shout out to the viewers on the day. You know what I mean? But this is that statement there was so pivotal that our young host Aramis asked, which who represents who did we say yesterday? The millennial, the G, what the Gen X kids? What's the game? What's the name of the kids these days? We Gen X.
Yeah. Hey Ray, real quick,
like Gen Z or something.
Okay.
Yeah, like Gen Z.
Because they all grew up in a European style of play.
Yeah.
Look.
Yep.
Hey, real quick, real important information. Your daughter, my lovely wife, she helping me with the stats. This is important. Wemby scored 10 points in the first quarter in the paint, right? But in the second half of the game, he scored 1 field goal in the paint.
Wow.
During the second half.
He was 9 of 25, and then he's shooting 36% in the field goal.
Wow.
But then I'm gonna go off what you said. I'm gonna go off what you said I'm glad you brought that up because field goal percentage 36%, not 25. Free throw percentage 25%, made 2 out of 8. Free throw percentage 57.1%, 4 out of 7. But let's go back to that field goal percentage. How you making 9 out of 25?
Right.
Why are you making 9 out of 25? You're shooting 30. I mean, 36% is a decent, but it should be way more than that. And you made 10 in the paint. What? Like, I don't get it. Because Brandon just he just explained on how a big man should be. He just brought in Shaq. Shaq is a phenomenal choice to explain about. And then Ray, same thing with him too.
Well, Artemis, the biggest problem though, which is what you're saying, and with Ray and B. Howard saying, the biggest problem is yes, he scored 10 points in the paint in the first quarter, but per Google, this is not my facts, but per Google, he took 1 field goal. He scored 1 field goal in the paint for the whole second half. So yes, he started off good in the paint.
You see how you said that? And then now you wonder why you gave up a 29-point lead.
Because we made 1 field goal in the painted area in the second half. 2 quarters of basketball.
Come on, bro.
Yeah.
Yo, somebody should smack the crap out of the coach, bro.
Now let me say this, not to move on before we go on, but vice versa. We talking about coaching and vice versa. You have Mike Brown on the other side. I'm not comparing Jalen Brunson, no, not atrocity to Kobe, but his name, Captain Clutch. He's been around people that knows if we still in this, it ain't over.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Mike Brown's been long enough there to know that he's been around players that can change the game like that.
Right.
Right. See, and Brandon, you probably can attest to this. It just shows you that the style of play, that somebody in the league is forcing a style of play. Because when you have the European style of play, you can have an opportunity to erase a 30-point lead.
Yeah.
Which we just saw in the NBA Finals. Hey, have Renasia fact check. When was the last team that even made it to the final? How many teams have lost, came back from and gave up lost a 30-point lead that played in the finals? How many teams have actually lost that kind of lead? I remember one team that came back from about 20-something, not 30, about 20-something, was LA. When LA had Kobe and Shaq, they came back from almost 20-something points back when LA won when they had Kobe and Shaq do it. I do remember that one, but that was about 20 points. We're talking another 10 more points added to that, and it took Shaq and them to the last basket or two to even elapse a 20-point lead in the finals.
Right. Yep.
That doesn't happen. So I don't understand, again, well, this is why we're talking about it now, because Aramis, with that being said, now that you understand that, how does that make you feel about the current state of today's game?
I feel like it is terrible. It's terrible because you should be able to find a way to make a comeback. But if you can't find a way to make a comeback, you might as well just accept the fact that you are terrible.
Hey, Ray, I just fact checked it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And this is all Google. Don't get me wrong. Look.
This is called the stat.
Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
It's hitting you looking like a what do you call it? A genius right now, because actually they only came back from 29, but it says no team in NBA history finals has ever came back from 30, and they came back from 29.
Brandon, how do you feel about that, Brandon?
That right there. Listen, everybody heard that, right? It's on air right now. Everybody heard that. What Juice just said, y'all, is facts, because, like you said, there's no team that has come back from what was it? 29-point lead, you said?
30, but they
30,
20, they
30
came back
points.
from 29. That's why they say that.
Right.
See,
you can try to say
now,
Brandon,
hey, Brandon, now I feel like that, this is some conspiracy stuff. Like, how does that happen? How do you not call the timeout? How do you allow a team to come back unless somebody said, hey, let them keep playing up and down European style of play?
Right.
Because everything else, the only way you can stop that is to get into a half-court set. Do y'all even know what a half-court set is? Because I ain't even seen a half-court set ran in years.
Right.
They don't run it now. Nobody runs it now.
Yeah. It's a sad thing.
When the last time did you watch basketball in the current era and you seen a team go down the court and run? Let me even make it even an easier question. Anybody on the platform today, and if you in the audience, please type in a question and answer. When has the last time you seen any NBA team in the last, let's say, 10 years that actually went down and ran a half-court set, and I'll give you a low number, 5 times straight?
So, so that's different. So I was about to say the closest, and this is not even accurate to what you're saying, but the closest I've seen, and it has to do with something with his age, but also his knowledge, is LeBron. LeBron forces his team to slow the fuck down sometimes.
I want to say the Miami Heat run where they stopped shooting threes and they only hit like field goal percentages their whole season. They ain't shooting out 1 3 their whole season.
So wait a minute, hold on, Amos. Let me just say this. you can still shoot a 3-point in a half-court set. That's not what it is.
Right.
Because just like Brandon said, Brandon, repeat what you said about how the ball, Brandon, run us through a half-court set. When you say you can pick where you slow the ball down, there's several ways that you can run it. Like you mentioned earlier, the most famous way and the most efficient way is to throw the ball into the paint, 2 feet from the basket, and you allow you allow everybody to dictate. Because if nobody helps, you got 1-on-1. So now let's go back. If Wemby's 1-on-1, 3-4 feet from the basket, and he goes to work, who stopped? What's the probability of him being stopped?
Right. None.
And then to what you said, Aramis, it's not about the 3, because like Brandon alluded to earlier, if the double team comes, you swing it to the open man. If that open man's sitting on the 3, that's an open 3. So you still can get a 3-pointer.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
It's just about like when Ray said, when you're coming up with the ball, and you got 2 options. You can either swing it to somebody that's open at the 3, or you swing somebody down below, and then hopefully you're a big man or anyone who got the ball in hand can score that basket. But you want to find other options before you can take the shot in your own hands. You can't just go in there and act like, oh yeah, it's gonna go in, but it doesn't, because you're not thinking clearly enough to analyze the court and see who is going to be open or not. Be patient and just see who's open, dishing that ball. If they make it, they make it. But if they don't, that's on the player's fault for not making that shot if they wide open.
Right.
It's just that simple. So, and the reason why I said Miami is because Miami has done it several times. But I feel like just that one season that Miami has had where they've been on a run, where they've always pushed that ball up the court every single time. And it's always been Wade, D-Wade, and Bron. Those were 2 iconic dynamic duos. And they always, pass that ball around throughout every game. And then every basket they shot was towards that paint. But if they had the opportunity to hit that 3, it had to be wide open. So they were more focused on that paint line than giving up 3s.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Bring the old guard back.
Oh my gosh, bro! It just hurts me, man. It hurts.
Yeah.
It hurts when I know the game, and I played basketball years. I played all 4 years of high school, the whole thing, and I coached. So you know what I mean. I understand what it is, but for whatever reason, the European style of play is just pushing so hard, and I like the European style. But at the end of the day, a coach is supposed to be the guru. You got to know how to plug and play different situations and systems, according to where you at in the game. So in the game, up 29 points, I'm slowing the game down and run a half-court set because time is the enemy of the other team. The more time I can run off the clock with my hand on the ball. Some people remember this. Now, Emerson and Juice, imagine, do you remember where some teams are running the ball out, stalling at the top of the court? That's just because why? They running the timeout because the other team.
People had the full court press, people.
Yeah, or foul them because they couldn't get the ball. And then if you foul, listen. So if they would have ran, if they'd have ran their plays and run out to possessions, so they shooting, when the clock get in the last 5 seconds of the shot clock, because it's 24 seconds. There's no way. First of all, it's no way that you're going to miss every shot.
Right.
So with that being said, the numbers that's the way the coaching should have been in that particular time, and that's where this is why they pay these coaches these big money, because there's only few coaches that can, sometimes you're going to have where a person made a lucky shot or I just couldn't do nothing, but if you do a numbers thing, if you run that scenario 100 times and you run it out and you pick 100 different styles you're definitely going to win the game. The harder percentage if you slow the game down, spread the court out, and run it through Wemby on the block.
Yeah, I remember times where like I'd be watching Chris Paul with the Hornets or something, and, when I was younger, and it would be like the announcer elaborate that you got 8 seconds to get across half court, and he's doing this because they're trying to run the timeout, and he's trying to get the fans to understand if you don't know the rules of what they can do to the extent they put. Now it's just like gun and run. Nobody's even worried about an 8 second.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
Man, they get the ball up the court in 3. When he got 4 steps and he across the fucking half, nigga, 8 feet tall. You know what I mean? So crazy.
Hey.
All right, so with that being said, let's transition it. And Brandon, we'll start with you. What is the key to success? Well, first of all, who do you got tonight? And what is the key for either chance for the team to win?
Yes, good question.
Right now, the Knicks can close out. But what is the key for because right now I'm a basketball fan. I want the Knicks to win, but I don't want to see the season end because we're gonna start.
Thank you.
Right.
Nobody want to watch golf all day right now.
Right.
So, Brandon, we're gonna start with you. What is the key success for the Spurs to win? And if not, we will be crowning the Knicks. Thank you, amen, because the Knicks need to win. But what's the key for the Spurs to try to extend the season tonight?
I think for me personally, for the Spurs to win tonight, they have to establish Wemby down low. Number one, right? We've been talking about, establish that game down low. It's, like we said, talking about, he's going to draw double teams. He's going to draw one-on-ones and everything. If he draws one-on-one, depending on who's going to match up against him, maybe Cat, he can draw fouls against Cat, and that takes Cat out the game, right? Cat's been, first 2 games of the series, Cat's been pretty dominant and everything, in a lot of ways and everything. So getting Cat out the game there, by establishing Wemby in the low post would definitely be a key there. Also, I think one of the key things, too, is the substitutions, right? I think that, Dylan Harper should get more time than he's been getting and everything. There's been times like I think it was game 2 and also I think game 4. I want to say that during the last minute of the game, where was Dylan Harper? He was on the bench. Why? Okay, I get it. Darian Fox is a veteran, right? But yeah, this rookie who's been just playing lights out, and the Knicks cannot stop Dylan Harper, right? So I think for the Spurs to extend this series to game 6, I think Dylan Harper needs to have more time on the court, and he's one of the only few people other than Wemby that can create his own shot, right? And like I said, in the last game, the Knicks cannot stop Dylan Harper. He was like everywhere, you know what I mean? So I think establishing Wemby on the paint, in the box, in the low post, Dylan Harper, get more time. And then, finally, I think a final key point, is, the use of timeouts. It goes back to coaching. Right?
Thank you.
Are making a run, call timeout. If your team is struggling, in any way, shape, or form, call time. You have 6 timeouts in the game, right? Why not use them? You know what I mean? You can't save them for that, to use them in the next game. Don't happen like that. Have better use of your timeouts. And that's why I think I give credit to Mike Brown, because and it comes back to experience. He knows when to call timeout, he knows when to let them play, and I think that comes with experience. And I think that Mitch Johnson has to do a better job with time management. And that's what the key word I'm looking for is time management. When's the right time to call a timeout? When's the right time to substitute, this person with that person? When we play 40 minutes in game 4, right? 40, and they were up 29. Why not see them down a little bit longer than 2 minutes, or whatever the case was, while you have a 29-point lead, get him some rest. And if they do make a run, you can come back in fresh. So I think coaching decisions is going to be very key in this game on the part of Mitch Johnson. We want to see, and number 4, I want to see is how San Antonio is going to start the game, because that was a devastating loss on in Game 4. This is a young team, right? And something like that could be devastating to a young team. So I want to see tonight how in the first 3 minutes of the game, how the Spurs going to come out. Are they going to come out energetic, or are they going to come out flat? Due to overlap of the last game. So those are the things I'm looking for in Game 4 for the Spurs to win.
Nice. What you got, Juice? What you got?
Well, your man B Howard, he broke it down like almost perfect. Like, I agree, but I guess I'm gonna take the angle of like a mentality. Like, I think it's up to Wemby, bro. Like, how bad do you want to be great? Because
Thank you.
Because this the thing about it, this is how I really feel about it. And it come down to coaching and all this other stuff and everything, but is Wemby going to lean on that we are the youngest finals team to make it and we got time? Because that's not really true. Because let me tell you something about the new guard and the old guard. Yes, Popovich had that joint on lockdown and everybody was unselfish, but this new guard, these kids want money. Dylan Hopper gonna want some money. Everybody's gonna, so that opportunity might be as not as vast as you think it is. You know what I'm saying? That opportunity might not be as long as you think it is. So sometimes like if y'all did some research on Wemby or seen his offside court, he went to the Monks, he met up with Kevin Garnett, and these are great. But the one person, God rest his soul, I wish he got to see and talk to was Kobe. Because sometimes there's going to be a point in life, in games, where you got to say, I don't give a damn what the coach is talking about. I am Wembyamba, and we're going to win this game. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just everybody just like, oh, well, coach said to run this play, and it didn't work. So, Cancun, 1, 2, 3, Cancun. I really feel like don't get me wrong, it's going to be a hard mountain to climb because this is a great team and the Knicks on the other hand. But if we are on the verge of another miracle for the youngest team, it's going to solely fall on how Wemby feels about basketball. Is he more of the, I'm famous, I'm rich, I can get him next year, or like, no, today might be my last game, so let's win now,
Amos, what you got?
Shit.
You gotta take a deep breath here. What you got, Aaron?
I'm trying to piece this all together, man. I'm trying to think because I can say a lot, because I can say a few things, but I'm gonna stick with the most important things of the game and tonight. I have to say Wemby. He needs to fit in that particular role of him being a big man. So he needs to be in that paint more often, and they need to utilize Dylan Harper more. The way he handles the ball, he handles the ball like he's a veteran, but he's really a rookie. So I love his game. He needs to get more minutes. You need to split minutes between Fox and Harper to give him more shine. And I really think it falls down to coaching to the end of the day because this is a Game 5, win or go home series, and more timeouts need to be called. Avoid foul calls by the fouls. If you can follow the most simple ones, go ahead and try not to, force any shots, any threes. You can take threes, but don't force too many because because some of the shots are gonna be good, some shots are gonna be bad. But bottom line, I would say coaching. Wemby needs to play better, and then they need to utilize Dylan Harper. I think those are my 3 keys for tonight. Okay. If that does not happen, then the Spurs need to do better next season. They need to find better ways to coordinate themselves. Because like Juice and like Brandon and then like Ray, like you said, like this team is very, very young. They need to understand like you are facing a team who has been doing this for years, and Jalen Brunson has took this team several times and has became a first round exit, West Conference exit and has finally got the chance to get into the finals, and who is that dog who is not going to stop until he gets that ring and gets that trophy under his head. So if Wemby, if you want that ring so badly, you have to get it. You have to earn that. You have to fight for that. And not only fight for that, you have to pick your plays wisely. If you got that ball in your hand, you need to deliver that ball into the basket wisely. Pick your shots. Know when to score. Know when to pass the ball. Know when to block. Know when to defend. Know when to be in that paint and post up. And hit your shots all the time. If you continuously hit your shot the whole entire game, and Dylan Harper is doing the same thing, and so is Castle defending. You got the win, and you can stay alive in this game. But for the Knicks so far, I ain't gotta say nothing. I ain't gotta say nothing about the Knicks. I already know the Knicks gonna do what they gonna do. OG gonna do what he gonna do. Cat gonna do what he gonna do. Mitchell gonna try his best to defend Wemby the best he can. But this is more of a Spurs moment right here, and the head coach needs to really understand, like, you got 6 timeouts, bro. You need to use some of them in the most crucial moment of it is right now. The game starts at 8:30. Once that 8:30 hits, it's game on. And then the moment it hits that fourth quarter, one of you guys need to have the highest points. And you need to really take it serious when it comes to that fourth quarter game. So that's my answer.
So I appreciate y'all. Everybody gave some good stuff. You know what I mean? And everybody brought some good points. But I'm gonna give you my Stephen A. Smith right here.
Go ahead.
Six is gonna win it. I promise you.
Yep.
The drought is over. Knicks gonna be crowned 2026 NBA champion. So on that note, getting back to the game, because I already know what's gonna happen.
Okay.
Because no team and Juice, have a major fact check. When was the last team in the NBA Finals to ever come back from a 3-1 lead? And I probably is going to be no one. But double check it. But with that being said, I feel that what I feel is this. First of all, we know the Knicks going to win. Shout out to the Knickerbockers, the New York Knickerbockers. Let's talk about that. But the Spurs, to try to make the series even close to try, what's got to happen is, and Aramis, you alluded to it, Wemby need to be great. Okay, so now Wemby's 22 years old.
2016 Cavaliers.
Yep.
LeBron against the LeBron. Hey, B. Howard pointed that out earlier.
One team ever. So it's not impossible. But here's the problem I got. But
realize how that's been the only team to do that, and then ever since then, none of the teams has ever did that. Now
nobody did it before.
Ray. I want to hear your point because you cooking with grease. But just to give B. Howard a little bit more flowers and elaborate, he said earlier that he got OG as his MVP, and I agree, right? But come on, man. NBA is politics, bro. It's just like this situation. Yes, Kyrie hit that shot, but everybody talk about the block, and that's why LeBron hit it. You know what I'm saying? OG is doing everything to win this series, but you know Brunson is going to come away with that MVP. You just know it.
Yeah, it's front loaded for Brunson because you know what it is. When you have that situation, Brunson has been the face of the Knicks. Period. If you talk the longevity of the whole season, Brunson carried the team the whole season. You know, then you had Cat and you had OG. You know, they had their moments. And even though it's supposed to be who is the MVP of the series, so now the politics come in because the Brunson has carried the team, and then you got to remember. Brunson's still been averaging 25 a game. I mean,
and fellas. So look, fellas, how you feel? That's exactly why I no smut on him, but I was like, that's going to be a problem when Jaylen Brown got that MVP over Tatum, and I was like,
Yeah.
you're
I was kind of confused about that one. I'm like, Jaylen Brown?
Yeah.
Tatum did the only one scoring in that round. Like, what do you mean?
Well, you know, it's like the villain, the Batman Robin villain. You know, the league
But could
is
you
gonna.
imagine? Look, can you imagine how Michael Jordan would feel if Scottie Pippen?
he probably would have got mad. But at the end of the day,
No, I mean, you know, but you got to remember. So what happens is, here's the thing: if you have the dominant player, right, you can't keep giving him all the flowers.
Right.
You have to recognize where some people came in and was tremendous and won the game. Just like Brandon pointed out.
But you know, I know, Ray, they get defensive player of the year. They get six-man war year. You don't get the MVP of the final.
Man, listen. So right now, if the Knicks win, Brunson's gonna get it. What do you mean? Because at the end of the day, listen what we're talking about. And y'all tell me if I'm wrong. Brunson has been contributing 25% of the workload force in the series every game.
Yes.
And then now you guys want to say, oh, Dylan Harper, oh, Cat. And now, okay, they had some nice moments that helped us to elevate to get the win. And we focusing on the pivotal plays that caused the series for us to win in the game that was pivotal. Right. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, you come through in a clutch in a clutch moment where we were down, or you made a clutch play when we needed it. And then so now you look at, let's say you take OG, he had 5 clutch plays, but was pivotal. But how can you take away the 30 points that Brunson poured in consistently the whole game?
Yeah.
And that's where the back and forth go back, because he's been consistent.
Right or wrong.
So there's no way Brunson shouldn't. To me, there's no way Brunson should not get it, as long as he's been averaging consistently a quarter or a third of the team point that whole entire series.
But right or wrong, you right, but like because of politics though, because right or wrong is really politics, because they already, you know, like I said, I'm not getting into it. I think Michael Jordan is the GOAT, but they already knocked LeBron against him all the, you know, they find every little angle to get. Now imagine if LeBron didn't get an MVP. You don't think they would add that on in an MVP? You know, every time Jordan went to the finals, he got an MVP. You know, he went to that final, he wasn't even the best player in that finals.
Right.
So you cannot be a great player and you have your Robin win the MVP in the finals, at least.
So in the 2026 postseason, Jalen Brunson has averaged 27.4 points, 6.2 assists, 3.2 rebounds per game across 18 playoff games. During the finals matchup against the Spurs, he maintained similar elite production, averaging 26.9 points and 6.6 assists. Now he's averaging right now 26.9. Against the Cavaliers, he averaged 25.5 points per game, 7.8 assists a game. Against the Atlanta Hawks, he averaged 26.3, 6.2 assists a game.
Those are Mamba numbers. Those are Jordan-esque numbers. Those are Shaq-esque numbers. These are numbers that are top of the game. And we're not talking about in a regular game. This is the NBA Finals.
Right.
And you still got a kid putting up 20, damn near double-doubles? Come on, bro.
Yeah.
How can you not give him? How can he not be the edge out anybody because of the consistent play?
He definitely
been very consistent. Very consistent.
He definitely. It wouldn't be a robbery, but we just speaking on, you know, the history, just like the Celtics. It just baffled me when Brown won, even if he deserved it or not, because Jalen Tatum is the face of that organization. Now, I've never seen that before then. And I was just now thinking, like, well, what type of person is Jason Tatum? Because now I am the franchise player, and y'all gave Robin the trophy. What do y'all, you know, how do I move on from there? Because now that's going to be a smut if Jason Tatum wanted to get into that Kevin Durant, that LeBron, that Jordan echelon.
Wait. Hold on, Juice. Hold on, Juice. What you just said there is the answer to your question, and I'll tell you why. Because at the end of the day, Tatum, when you have superstars of the league, let's talk about of the league,
Of
and
the
I'm the
league.
face of the team. So now when you take it, let's take Tatum, right? Tatum is the face of the Boston Celtics, right? At this time. Now, but is he transitioning to be the face of the league?
Mm,
Brandon? Is
No,
he
right.
transition? Would
right.
you say Brad Tatum did enough to transition to be the face of the league?
Mhm. I agree. I agree. I
Right.
don't think he's there, but I'm saying like
But
if he had those
hold
aspirations.
on, Juice. So to answer your question, in my opinion, because he's in that bubble where he could transfer into the face of the league, so now I can go back with politics and say, oh, I can give it to Brown.
Mhm.
But why I keep me defeating him because he ain't transitioning into to be a Shaq or a Kobe.
Right.
He's not doing that. So
Now
now that's
that's
where the politics can come in and say,
Right.
well, go and give it to the next guy who was really pivotal in the series.
that
Right.
and that's true. And I'm not and just no knock on Jalen Brunson. I'm not saying Jalen Brunson is going to be a transcendent face of the league, right? He could not be. But I'm saying if Tatum had those aspirations, you got to say that's a smut on your resume, bro. If you wanted it to be in that vicinity of players, they gonna always look, well, Brown won the MVP on one of your, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
it's just a thing where that baffled me. And now you think about it, even if Jalen Brunson's not gonna be that, he's the face of their organization. If OG won that because he did pivotal things, how would Jalen Brunson feel about that? That's what I want to know.
It's going to be hurtful, because at the end of the day,
Like
that's
what?
the politics. So
Yep.
Brandon, let me ask you this. Let me ask you a
I can
question,
say
Brandon.
something to that.
Brandon, let me ask this question. I'm going to
Right.
start with you, Brandon, to answer it. Okay. So with that being said, we understand the politics. And you remember, the NBA is a business.
Yeah.
Yep.
So with that being said, I want everybody to answer the question. Who is the top? We just do top three. If you want to throw a four-person in, who is in line right now, top three player in the league to say, hey, you're going to be the one to be the next face? Because right now, the face of the NBA is still, and I'm not going to say unfortunately because I don't piss nobody off, but it's still LeBron.
Yeah.
And then
Yes.
you have some other players who are vowing to be the next person. So, Brian, I'm going to start with you. Who do you think right now is the top three that's in position to take the face of the league over?
Oh, that's a great question, man. That's truly a great question. Man, I think Wemby could be up there, as one. I
Mhm.
mean, I think he's
Wemby,
still
I agree.
he's only
Wemby,
22. He's only 22, but he still have time and everything. I think he'd be up there, with his skill set. I want to say Shea, maybe.
okay,
I'm
Steve.
kind of iffy, on Shea with his game and everything. And everyone's like, no, no, not Shea. No, no, And the
I
third one,
have I have a hatred for Shay. I'm just putting it out there for anybody. Anybody, listen. Y'all can hate me for every y'all want, but I'm laying on this right now. I do not like Shay. As much of a bit, as much as I love Shay's game, without the following all the bullshit as he's doing, Shay is a really good assassin when it comes to that mid range. He got that deadliest mid range and is really good. I love it. But just his performance wise, it just pisses me off. I do not like
okay.
Shay. I'm
All
sorry.
right. So, and then my final one, I want to say because he has a very international appeal, is Luca. I think Luca could
Okay.
be another, possible
Okay.
face of the league as well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's already a superstar overseas too and everything. So I mean, I think those are the three I think really could become, the face of the league or get the pass torch to them by LeBron. It depends on what LeBron's gonna do, in the next year or two. So those are my
What you
three.
got?
So
What you
my
got?
three.
What you got? What you got, Juice?
All right. So I agree. I share the same feelings as Artemis and B Howard. So my list is damn near the same, but one person
Okay.
because I can't stand Shay's game. I'm sorry. Shay's a
Hey,
great player,
hey, Brandon,
but
what's up with Shea? Nobody likes Shea.
because
I
it's like
know, right?
it takes.
Never
You know
in this
what?
show right now,
I'm gonna just
Juice.
flat out say it. I'm flat out saying we are good people. We are not misogynists, but this is a man sport, damn it. And you taking that appeal from us, bro. You taking that floppy action shit somewhere else, bro. Don't play ball, bro. Second though, but this is my list. Wemby, I think Wemby definitely has the skill set to do it. Luka, because of everything B Howard say. I'm gonna say what you say, Ray, too. American basketball is dead, but we have one side, and I'm praying for him. It's Ant-Man.
Yeah.
but
If Ant-Man can get to another level, another cap, and I'm cheering for him because
listen,
American basketball, he could
I
be
agree
a
with you, bro. Ant-Man
I was
screwed
just about
himself.
to say Ant-Man.
He screwed himself because everybody was saying Ant-Man, and Ant-Man went live on national TV and said, "No, thank you."
Yep.
He did say that.
Once you say no, thank you, it's over because now that's saying that hey, you don't want kids to wear your jersey, but you want them to wear, but you turned it down.
Kids are wearing your shoes. They wearing your jerseys. They wearing your
no professional
clothing
player
brand.
should be saying no to the fans.
But let me say this, Ray. You know what offsets that a little bit, and I get it. And it's gonna make it his road rougher. But what offset that winning because you know they're gonna spin it. He's the villain of the NBA, and people love villains. I'm not gonna lie to you.
They love a good villain.
They love a good villain. Yeah.
So if he's talking crazy like that and being defiant and winning, that's actually probably gonna get his sales to go up, and he's gonna be in demand because he's the villain of the NBA.
Yeah.
Hey, I got a quick question for y'all, and we gonna say who can answer. Who is the greatest villain in the league, and in the history of the game? Villain.
I'll let y'all go.
That's a great question.
Brandon, you go first, bro.
The league.
I'm trying to answer for y'all, but I'm not gonna spoil it. Y'all tell me who.
I gotta think about that.
Who's the great? We talking about villain. I can give you some boy. Remember, Brandon? They might not remember the Bad Boys when you had Land Beer.
Beer.
So it's a couple more, and he's not my pick, but I'm telling you, it's been some boys. This villains.
Malone, maybe.
No.
I'm just throwing names out there. I don't know.
You had Charles Oakley. You had Mason. You had a couple boys who was bad boys. Remember Ben Wallace? I mean, you had some boys, Rashid. You had some boys, but if you want to ask me, you know who's the greatest villain to play the game? Dennis Rodman.
Dennis Rodman.
Dennis Rodman.
Yes.
So look. I agree. I can't think of nobody that's a greater villain, but the best defiant player in the NBA was Iverson to me.
Iverson was a goat. He could break you down.
Iverson wasn't a villain, but he was
But you know why? But you know why you can say that? Because Allen Iverson was only 6 feet tall.
Yeah.
Listen, let me just say that again. Allen Iverson is an iconic, one of the greatest scorers to ever play in the game, and he's only 6 feet tall.
Yep.
I feel like for me, based off of my era, I have to go with LeBron just because of how a lot of people hated. How they hated on him when he left the Cavs to go join.
Wait, Aaron, we're not saying a villain, but you're just saying you think he's the greatest player of your era.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying? Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
I would say my era is just because in any era has always had that best player, but just for me in my era, I would say LeBron because I watched him.
Hey, I'm sorry, Artemis. I love you, but your era, the greatest villain is Draymond Green.
Yeah. Draymond would be the best, the greatest.
I already know it. I already know he is. I already know it. And
hey, listen. When you put a team together, you have to have a villain.
Steve Kerr did that. Matter of fact, coming from a Golden State fan, I've always known Draymond Green was gonna be that villain. I've always knew it because think about it. Come out of Michigan, he was the same way in Michigan, was he not?
Hey, and he still can hoop though.
He still can hoop, and to this day, I mean, as much as Draymond Green could piss me off, right now, that's that villain shit.
He's the closest.
And on top of the next upcoming villain, I'd probably say Dylan Brooks.
Yeah, but Draymond's the closest thing to the old guard to what you call a enforcer.
Yeah. Great.
And look at his height.
Yeah.
Draymond said on his, Draymond got a podcast too. So Draymond's podcast, he said that, remember in game, was it 3, when Wemby mushed Brunson in the head and pushed him down?
Yeah, on the ground.
Yep.
Draymond said he'd have fought every Knicks player because nobody ran to his defense.
Yep.
Now to go back and look at
I ain't gonna lie. He got shoved. Nobody helped.
And this is our best player.
Yep.
So now that tells me shame on the Knicks, because had that have been any old school team, the whole fucking bench would have cleared.
And look,
The whole bench.
Oh yeah.
Would have cleared.
That's true. Right, that's true, right?
If
But
your star player is being thrown,
You just mushed my main guy.
Yep.
Listen, it wasn't even an accident. It was on purpose.
Yeah,
he bombed his head and
But you also had a battle of
he would have been off the bench on that.
Absolutely.
You also had the battle of the old guards though, because if y'all watched the halftime show with Shaq and Charles Barkley was pissed. Charles Barkley said, that's uncalled for, and Shaq like, no, that's basketball. You little, you not supposed to be down here with me. You get him out the club.
And he right. But what should have happened was, where is your team enforcer, or where's your thing, period, that you're not going to chump us off?
Yeah,
and Shaq coming from us say you're little. And so sometimes we call it, back in the day, used to call it chippy play.
Yep.
You come through, catch a little wing, you know what I mean? A little, that's chippy play. But that play was direct, intentional. And so for no one on the Knicks to come up and defend him, I don't like that. To me, I have a problem with that, because at the end of the day, now Brunson looking at his team like, well, damn.
It's supposed to be cat.
Where's my back? Where's my back at? And Brunson jumped up, and he looked into the heavens, and nobody behind him. That's a fucked up feeling.
Quick question, fellas. Do you think Kevin Garnett would have let that slide on Rondo?
Hell no.
No.
Bro, hey, Brandon, tell him, back in the day, the whole bench would have cleared on that.
Yep. I remember, I don't know, Ray, if you remember this, when the Lakers played against the Celtics in I think it was the 84th, I want to say the 84th finals, and it was game 3 or 4. And this is where, Kevin McHale and was it Magic or Rambis got into it. Where Yeah, Rambis went up to go to the basket. They were on a fast break. Rambis went up, and McHale fouled him really, really hard. And but they're about to go to bros and everything. And Bridges started to clear and stuff like that too. That's the type of stuff that me and Ray Ramon was talking about and everything back in the day. And and granted, Kurt Rambis for the Lakers was a role player. He wasn't the star player. So when we pass back to what we saw in game 3, I'm kind of with you, Ramon, because I'm like, if that was any other, if that was back in the day, Bitch would have cleared, easily. As a star player, we ain't gonna put up with that and everything,
Remember, at the end of the day, that's my brother. And I just saw my brother get pumped. Get pumped.
To say all that all ties into, and like I said, I'm not trying to diminish nobody's characters, but that all ties into what I was saying earlier, how bad do Wemby and all these other young players, they want it. Because Kevin Garnett said something on his podcast that had me interested. Wemby cried when he won the Western Conference Finals. And Kevin Garnett was like, dog, you can't show that much emotion in there. You didn't make it yet. You're crying there. So what is your love, your passion? Are you crying because you now are you were already a superstar, but superstar, you about to be in the finals, or are you crying because you about to be actually a champion? What do you feel? And the way he's been playing in the first 2 games, it made me feel like he was just happy to be there.
But this is, so to piggyback on that, Juice, this is where experience comes in. You were so happy to think you made it to the promised land. You made it to play in the finals. And when he lose, they're gonna lose. Let's just go back to the Stephen A. Knicks gonna win. But what I fear is, if he lose in this fashion and they switch his game up again, he's gonna go back to the lab the league gonna be in trouble because he could take away so many things just from listening to our podcast that would make him even more unstoppable. But what I do like is he did get an edge because he was too nice. So when he went with Kevin, not with Kevin McGill, when he went to these different people, Elijah Wan and different people to train him, you can't be that big and without having a little edge. Like when somebody, hey, listen, I remember when Shaq was so physical, when the white boy threw a ball at his head, he just so mad because he was being physical. So Wemby has to be physical, but when he lose this series, ain't gonna be no more crying to make there because he's gonna understand that lesson that what's called was trying to tell him. Why are you crying here?
Right.
But it's a difference though. Like I'm not even trying to be disrespectful and say men are not men no more. But the old guard is there. It was a story that Kareem told off camera, and he said that Wilt Chamberlain spit on a guy because he asked him how the weather was up there because he was so tall, and he spit on him. That's off the court. That's how nasty he was off the court. You know what I'm saying? So people are not built like that no more to have that ferocity. I am 7-foot friendly giant now.
Yeah, I mean it's and the thing about that is, so you have to have a certain, you have to be a GOAT on one hand, and then you have to be a certain arrogance too, because so for example, you can't. There's no even you say the greatest player LeBron, or you can say the greatest player Jordan, or you go through some of these players have to be a certain arrogance just to say, to defy who they are. Because you can't be a nice guy. That's why LeBron gets shaded now because they feel like, oh, he don't have enough killer instinct to be in the conversation of a Jordan. Jordan got all killer instincts on every level, never lost. And that's where the argument about the whole GOAT conversation between LeBron and Jordan is because LeBron comes in, wins some chips, but when they get down to crunch time, he's still playing basketball fundamentally instead of taking over the game.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be able to take over the game, and then and you can't be the guy and get pumped. You got to be the person to say, "I ain't taking no shit. This is what it is, and I'm gonna close the show."
So you know what I think the Spurs. I know we was talking about the Knicks. Where's his backup, but you know who I think will be perfect with the Spurs. Not even just to play, just to be on their team. Patrick Beverly.
Yeah.
Because Patrick Beverly was on their team. He would be like, Wimby, you too big to be so.
Right.
Yeah. But that's because now the league is soft. When the old guy, when me and Brandon in our era look at the league, it's soft because they not looking to play that kind of style of game. Hell, I don't even remember the last time I seen anybody run a half court set in the league. I don't even know if that exists anymore.
Right.
Yeah. When y'all right, you right. I'm in the middle, and I be feeling like sometimes old people be saying we soft, but when y'all right though.
I mean, the league doesn't have to be jailhouse ball, but at the end of the day, I mean, to me, it's coaching. Like when I was a coach, Brandon, I coached AAU ball and all that too. Right. My son played on Kevin Durant travel team. Okay. So what happened is, the first thing that I remember when coaching is how many players I got on my bench. So let's say you got 12 players on your bench, right? So that what that tell me as a coach, I got 65 to give. So let me think about that. So
they're not even looking at it.
What coach look at that? That's because no news scout who don't even give a damn about coaching. They can't even fucking call a timeout, let alone saying how many fouls I have to give. And fouls to give is important because, for me, if I was coaching the Knicks, I had one of my bench players, son, you're going to get 2 minutes. You're going to get 1 minute of play today, and I'm going to put you in 5 times, and I want you to run through Wemby ass 5 times.
Yep.
So let me ask you that.
To send a message.
Artemis, Howard, and Ray, let me ask you that. What do you think is what's the disconnect with Mitch Johnson? What is it? Like, I understand the scheme, but what is it for him not to be like he wants to take over this team? Is it the Laura
Wemby?
Yeah.
Brandon, you want to answer that?
So, as far as Mitch Johnson is concerned, I think it's inexperience. I think it's his. I mean, he's a good coach. Don't get me wrong. He's done a great job. Coaching the Spurs and everything. For Pop and everything, replacing Pop, and give credit to him because he took over for a legend. Let's put it like this.
Yeah.
He took over for a legend, right? And that's a lot of pressure, to take over for a legendary coach who won championships, who's done great things with the organization. And to take over and to go to the finals and this is what his second year, whatever the case is.
And the youngest team ever. One of the second youngest team ever.
Right. Yep. So that I give him credit for that. But I think that it's his inexperience. I don't know much about him as far as his coaching history is concerned. But what I do know from looking at this series is that on the big stage, his inexperience as a coach is showing up and everything. I think that's where the whole disconnect is. I think it's more or less he's a good coach, but I think it's just an inexperience and everything, because this is his first time here, right? This is his first time here versus Mike Brown. He's been, in the finals once before as head coach, and then other times as an assistant coach at Golden State won championships there. So I think that like I mentioned before. I think Mitch Johnson's a good coach. I think he's going to learn from this. And I think that he's going to look back and say, okay, I should do this. So the next time, I'll be better, a better coach. I think it comes down to inexperience to me.
I'm not on the Spurs bench, but for instance, you just mentioned Mike Brown. Unfortunately for Mike Brown, Kobe is that guy. But you would see Mike Brown and Kobe cuss each other out for struggle of power. It feels like to me, and I'm not on the bench, it feels like to me, both Mitch Johnson and Wemby are such nice guys. They like, you take control. No, you take control. You take control. And then, you know what I'm saying? It ain't no game plan. It's just let's just not lose, guys.
Right.
Mm-hmm. But that goes on the coach, though, because the player's a player. Right. It still goes back on the coach, because right now, I promise you, he'll get fired before they trade Wemby.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Mike Brown know that.
So I got the history behind Miss Johnson. I know Brandon pointed that out, so I wanted to answer Brandon's question for that one. The San Antonio Spurs are currently coached by Miss Johnson. Who took over from Greg Popovich. The rise Johnson, a former Stanford point guard, joined the Spurs organization in 2016 as an assistant for the G League. The Austin Spurs transition. He served as an assistant under Popovich from 2020 to 2024. Okay. After Popovich suffered a medical absence early in the 2024-2025 season, Johnson stepped in as an acting head coach. He guided the team through the remainder of that season before officially taking the helm as the 19th head coach. In franchise history, recent success, Johnson has built a strong working relationship with the Spurs Ferdinand. Under his guidance, the Spurs finished one of the best records in the Western Conference, and he was tapped to coach in the 2020 NBA All-Star game.
So I go back to what you said, Brandon. He's a Popovich protege, which is fine. That's why he's here with the youngest team, because he got mentorship from one of the great coaches that ever coached. So we know why he's here, and he got good tutelage. But you can have all the tutelage in the world, but nothing can teach you experience in the moment.
Yep.
In the moment. So.
Yep.
But listen, that's good. This is the last topic because I got to get off here. Yeah, but I want everybody to touch on their off topic stuff. So my off topic for today is first go Knicks. I think the Knicks lose tonight, and then they'll win. I think that they're gonna lose just because the league want them to go 6 games. So, but my off topic one is Amos, we got to get the WNBA here at some point, bro, because my girl Angel Reese is burning it up over at the Dream, bro. She just accomplished where she has over 950 rebounds, and I forget how many points and average double in the first 3 or 4 years of her career. The only person to match her, NBA or WNBA, is Shaquille O'Neal.
Wow.
I'm gonna hit up my friends so that she can slide in so we can talk about it.
Yeah. I just want to make sure we give her flowers because at first they was dogging her, talking about, oh, she's putting up me bounds, like, you know, moves missing on purpose. And then now she's with a whole nother team that's better than the Chicago Sky, and Atlanta Dream. Watch out, because I promise you, they're gonna be able to be in line to get to the WNBA finals with her play. So kudos and shout out to Angel Reese.
I agree with that. So my off-topic, subject I want to talk about is WNBA related. There was a video clip that I saw on social media of Teresa Teaspoon, right? Who used to play for the New York Liberty and we used to coach the Chicago Sky. And she did a great breakdown of how to defend Asia Wilson, superstar with the
Las Vegas. Yeah, Las Vegas.
Yes. And I'm just thinking to myself, why isn't this woman coaching? Because she did an excellent. You can look at her, you can Google it and everything, and you can see how she did a great job breaking down how you can stop, Asia Wilson from defensive perspective and everything. And she used to be a former coach with Chicago Sky, and they fired her. I still don't understand why they fired her, to be honest. But I think she's a great coach, and I think that she should be coaching a team. Now, and it's a shame that she's not currently coaching right now. So big shout out to Teaspoon. I think that she is going to get another opportunity in the WNBA. But she should be coaching right now.
Nice. What you got, Juice?
Okay, so I have an off topic, but right before I just want to briefly touch something because y'all talked about the WNBA, and I just thought this was interesting because I kind of ran into this last year. And Artemis, you could fact check me because it has been a year since this situation came up with me, right? But your daughter Ray, my wife, she played basketball. She was a phenomenal basketball player in her high school career, right?
Shout out St. Charles. Shout out
to St. Charles.
Shout out St. Charles. Let's go St. Charles in the building. Hey.
But it brought me.
Oh wait, and Thomas Stone too. Thomas Stone.
It brought to my attention last year that my wife had took her family out to a G League basketball game, but my wife didn't know what G League was. And she was like, oh, yeah, we went to an NBA game. And then, and I looked at it and I was like, nah, this is the G League. And she was like, what is that? And I was explaining it to her. They thought it was a college game. After I was explaining to her, I was like, no, these are grown men. And then we started, going down that rabbit hole. And we were talking about, at one point it was, an argument about how much the women players should get paid. But then I found out that the women WNBA as of last year did not have a D League.
No, there's no
D
League.
Have a G League. So that's very interesting to me. Is saying like, wow, just never know that. But my real off topic is, do you guys really think that Bron is holding out to play with Bryce?
He made it happen for her.
Okay, well, maybe the question is, do you think he's going to make it until Bryce?
Yes. Why not? Because you're LeBron. LeBron still is top 10 in the league now. Arguably top 6. He's not in the top 5 to me, but he's in the top 10.
But I can say this.
Arguably in the top 10.
I want to hear all y'all points on this, but I can say this, and I ain't not an old man by no means, but 27, sometimes I wake up and feel different. You know what I'm saying? Bro, I could wake up and be like, it ain't in me no more.
Man, listen, Aramis, tell him don't get me started on my conspiracy about LeBron.
Yeah, no, we ain't gonna talk about that right now. We already know what it is.
Don't do that.
Close it up, though.
Brandon, I'm gonna fill you in. Them two know I feel, but I feel
we're gonna do it next show. We're gonna do it next Saturday, but we do gotta wrap it up though. And then
hey, Brandon, my conspiracy on LeBron before I wrap it up is, I promise you, LeBron spent $1 million on his body. You cannot tell me he's not dope.
Here you go.
Hey, 40-some years. He's putting up numbers better than some kids coming out of college. And he's in 44.
Exactly.
And never had an injury. Even Kobe broke an ACL. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on, bro.
But
never an injury, and you've been playing at the highest level in the NBA in the world for over 20 years. You gotta be juiced. That's my conspiracy. No knock to Bron. I just know that you're spending a lot of money, and the NBA selectively picks what's allowed and what's not. But whatever you've been taking, they allowing it because you're the face of the franchise.
Yep.
The whole NBA.
Hey, look, Barry Bonds created families and moments.
Yeah. Brandon, what you think on that? What you think real fast before we shut it off? What you think on that whole LeBron thing?
It's interesting, man. You know, I mean, he's been around for 20 years and everything, and he's still, you know, muscular and everything. It's like something may be up, you know what I mean? But I can't really speak on it and everything. But you know, I mean, look at him and Tom Brady, right? That's the 1-2 I can compare to.
Hey,
right.
It's the price for
different times, different place, and everything. You know, different stories. So, you know.
Hey, it's the price for entertainment, though. Like I ain't saying that I agree, but it's like, look at the moment he gave. If he is, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, it's the price of entertainment.
Hey, Brandon, whatever he got, I want some. Can I get a little bit?
Right.
Can I get a little bit? You know what I'm saying? Well, but anyway, yeah. What you got, Hermes? What's your hot topic?
I ain't got much to say. I mean, I'm just trying to close this up right now because I gotta head out.
Okay,
yeah.
Close out.
Hey, before we close out, though,
I gotta head out, man.
I enjoy being on it, but just for the world, if y'all watch this on YouTube, go Knicks, but please do not harm people. Let everybody leave and go home safe.
Amen.
We love basketball, but it's just basketball at the end of the day.
If they win tonight, the city gonna be shut down.
That's what I'm saying.
Shut it down the right way, though. That's all I'm saying, guys.
Do it the right way. That's right.
You're right. Yeah. Great stuff on that, Juice. Good stuff.
All right, everybody. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We had 3 people hopping in the live today. So for those 3 people, make sure you make sure you subscribe, hit that like button, put on the post notifications so that when you see me go live stream with the fellas.
Hey, y'all make sure when Aaron send y'all the link, make sure y'all share it so that way we can get more views.
Of course.
Definitely.
Share it to your people.
Yep.
Oh, and I forgot to make this announcement last Saturday for you guys. We will be doing 100 video uploads throughout the summer and throughout the remaining NFL season that's going to be coming up shortly. So I hope you guys stay tuned for that one that's coming up. Shout out to my pops. He has a post-playing podcast football, so go check him out. He's been growing continuously every year, and then that's all I got to say. But that's it. That's it for knowledge. I'm your co-host, Hermes.
Ray Daniel.
G. Howard.
All right.
And we out. Peace. Have a blessed Saturday. I love y'all. See y'all next Saturday at 12
great
p.m.
show, guys. Love y'all.
Yeah, I love y'all too.
See
y'all.
All right.
Later.
And we over here.